this tower in the time it takes them to come back. We're just using Aurora to scout here. We actually see the electrician, so we swap him and stun him. Their team, all three of them, actually kind of run in, and again, our team is kind of slow to react here. It's kind of unfortunate. Purple and teal were kind of just both sitting, beating on the tower when they should have been helping out. Because we had 3 on 4, we should have been able to take that fight. We're going to try to do as much damage to electrician as possible. We're definitely not overcommitting, trying to get a kill. Here, Swiftblade's chasing after us. If he had his ult, he probably would have already used it, although maybe he tried right there. So we're just going to take an unconventional path and run around to the left to juke him or whatever. Because if we continue running straight, he's eventually going to see us. We see that our teammates are beating him up, so there's no reason not to run back in and hit him. There's a fair argument that you could say, well, he could ult you, but as long as we stay net close enough to our teammates, the ult should bounce. I mean, it should, cross your fingers, fairly. And in fact, having 3 people there instead of 2 makes it less likely that he could just suddenly ult and kill both people. With 3, it's pretty unlikely that he's going to be able to kill everyone with an ultimate. He is only level 9, so he only has 3 bounces anyway. We were just checking there to see, or we were waiting at the bottom rune, even though we didn't have to check it because we have a ward there. We were waiting to 24 minutes to see if it spawned. It would have been nice to get another rune. It didn't, so we know the rune's top, or at least it was. Maybe someone took it. On our way there, we're placing wards. We knew that they warded that spot earlier, so we placed a counter ward as well. There was no ward there, though, but there almost assuredly was earlier. We're going to actually go place an aggressive ward into their jungle because we're really dominating them now. We have map control, so instead of needing neutral or defensive wards in the middle of the map, we actually can afford to place wards that are aggressive in their jungle, so we can catch them jungling. Because as they get pushed back into their base and they need to farm, they're going to be forced into their jungle, and by having wards there, we can gank them in their own jungle, which will just further our lead. I'm actually picked up an illusion rune, but I need to run back to base because I'm pretty low mana and health. So I'm actually going to just try to micro these illusion runes a little bit, hopefully baiting a kill. Or I mean not baiting a kill, but baiting them to try to kill me and use relevant abilities. You'll see I make sure to only show 1 illusion rune so that they don't see 2 of me running around anywhere. I kind of act like I'm running up the hill and running down at the same time, all the while buying items, because buying items takes precedence here. Pink does try to kill me, doesn't really use too much, so it doesn't matter. I just kind of throw my other illusion in and focus on buying items now. I ended up going with a power supply after all. I just kind of had wanted something to give myself a little more mana. I noticed that I was running out of mana in a lot of team fights when I wouldn't have liked to. And power supply is definitely worse for health now. It's also a little bit worse for mana, just because of the AoE that it affects, but it was still probably worth getting. I had those minor totems anyway, and this just provides me with stats, which is basically all I need. We see Flint is actually top. He's just going to die to our Bloodhunter. We were actually making our way up there, but it ended up being irrelevant. So now we're going to swing back mid and try to push the lane because there's really nothing else for us to do. Or actually, I guess, oh, now we see Electrician running in their woods. So we're going to try to set up a gank on him. We see actually there's 2 people here, and again our teammates are kind of slow to react. Once again, purple and teal are the culprits. But anyway, so we throw out the stun. We're going to wait until he gets a little bit farther away and try to swap him. Actually, though, Swiftblade ended up running in ran right on top of Engineer, basically, right as we tried to swap, and we accidentally ended up swapping Swiftblade. Worked out regardless because of blue using her slow. We did get a kill, which we didn't really want to do. Whenever it's possible, we're going to try to avoid taking kills, but in a situation like that where the hero is running, we were just trying to finish them off and get back into the fight as quickly as possible, because we thought our teammates would probably be fighting Swift, which didn't really end up happening. But that's why we ended up getting that kill accidentally. It's not the worst thing in the world to get a kill or 2 every now and then, especially when your team's winning like this. So yeah, anyway, as I was pointing out, teal and purple, kind of slow to react. It's worth noting things like this, just because then you won't end up relying on them in a time when it's life or death. Anyway, we can see that pink teleported into the aggressive rune spot. Or aggressive ward spot, and counter warded it. We actually make a mistake here. We throw down our ward of sight before our ward of revelation. We should always do a ward of revelation first, kill the opposing ward of revelation that he counter warded with, and then place our ward of sight. There's 2 reasons for this. One, if we were to get stopped while we were trying to destroy the Ward of Revelation, like they moved in and forced us back, and we weren't able to finish off the Ward of Revelation, it would be really bad, because then we would have wasted a Ward of Sight as well, because his Ward of Revelation would still be there to kill it. Also, we just don't want to throw down the Ward of Revelation for exactly this reason, or Ward of Sight first for exactly this reason, which is he knows there's a Ward of Sight now there, because his Ward of Revelation was able to see it when we placed it down, so he's going to go have an easy counter ward again. So those are both reasons why it's very important to make sure you throw down a Ward of Revelation before Ward of Sight. So we're going to pick up some more Wards of Revelation here to counter ward his counter warding again. And because we have another Ward of Sight we want to throw down, so we're going to have the Courier send us some wards. We're going to pay a lot of attention to the Courier here though, because if a fight were to start, we definitely don't want it running this far into the base. So I'm always making sure to, see, you can see I'm selecting back and forth between myself and the Courier, just to make sure that if a fight were to start, I can just press R or click the Courier into the middle of the map somewhere that creep camp isn't. So that's actually what I do right now, because this fight's, or I assume a fight's going to start, since, you can see I sent the Courier somewhere. I noticed that might be an ancient camp, so I sent him one more location, because I don't want to get the Courier killed. I throw an Aurora out behind where we're running to disable Striders and to give us vision, which actually works as intended that time, revealing both Witch Slayer and Electrician running up and stopping their Striders so they can't run in and grip anyone. At that point I bring the Courier back. Both these people need it, so I let them take it first and get my Wards of Revelation. I noticed that Arachna's getting gripped by Electrician here, so I just swapped the Electrician. I could have swapped the Arachna, but given that there were plenty of us around, it seemed just like a safe bet to swap the Electrician into our team. I actually kill his counter ward there for no real reason, because I decide I don't want to place a Ward of Revelation, a Ward of Sight there. I want to place it in their base instead, because we've killed the tower. So there's really no reason for me to kill that Ward of Revelation, and I could have just saved mine. It's certainly a mistake. Again, that just points out, like, just because you know there's something you can counter ward, quote unquote, you don't always have to. It only matters if it's actually relevant. There's no reason to waste money. I understand it's just a small amount of money, but it still matters. There's no reason to be inefficient. So as long as I'm not going to place a Ward of Sight there, the Ward of Revelation he has is really not going to do anything. It doesn't provide enough vision or anything to be worthwhile. Here we see that Blood Hunter actually goes Codex level 5, which is certainly worth a laugh. And we actually have enough money now to pick up what is definitely a luxury item, which would be, I think it's called Glowstone in this, the secret shop item that provides both health and mana. So we can start working towards, again, kind of in quotations, because we're not really focused on getting it, but we can start working towards getting an alt staff, which I feel is a reasonable luxury item on Andromeda. There's a haste there. We don't really need it because we have Striders. It just doesn't seem very useful. We just pick up some regen and some wards now that we have them, because we're kind of, a little low on mana. We certainly wouldn't mind having a little more mana regen. Bombardier actually throws down a nice ultimate there, which damages Witch Slayer just enough so that the Blood Hunter can run away. We're still just guarding this haste so that someone can take it other than us. We really don't have much of a use for it. Not that Striders are a substitute for haste, but with Andromeda, we can pretty easily get into range with Striders to be able to swap, and therefore we really just don't need the haste. It would be better on someone else. We run here because we thought something might happen, but it's not really going to, so we're just going to kind of hang out. A little bit of lag again. I'm not sure if I did fix it or not earlier, but there's not a ton of video left at this point. As you can see, the game is pretty one-sided. Here, I come in and buy my glowstone once again, making sure to use hotkeys. I feel like this is a good choice for the first item to buy. First item to buy for the old staff, because it provides basically everything we need, health and mana. We see our teammate here is in trouble. We swap him out just in time, actually, to prevent him from dying. Again, saving our carries and semi-carries is important. We feel like he probably could have come in and helped right there, because the other hero had backed off, but he was playing it safe, and we can't really fault him for that. The important thing is that he lived, and his spider actually got a kill on Witch Slayer regardless. Again, I cannot emphasize enough. Oh, well, actually, I'll get to that in a second. Since our counter ward is still up here, we know it's safe. They haven't tried counter warding again in a while, so we can actually throw a ward back up there and not have to fight over it, which is why we do that this time. As I was saying, I can't emphasize enough to newer players how important it is to be able to use swap on your teammates, in addition to just using it on enemies to get kills. Saving teammates is actually more. So early in the game, it's much more likely probably that you're going to be using swap on enemies to set up ganks. But as the game progresses, Andromeda's ability to basically sacrifice herself to save a teammate, or just save a teammate in general, without sacrificing herself, is enormously important. It's just so useful, and your teammates will love you so much if you swap them to save them. I'm at about half mana here. I looked at the Courier to see if there are wards back up. There aren't, which means I've actually been doing a good job of buying wards every time I got a chance. But since I was on the Courier anyway, I figured it couldn't hurt to send myself a mana potion, since I was at half mana and could use a little bit more. And then I'll wait until I can get some more wards of site next time. I'm sitting up here in Viz, trying to set something up. Maybe I should have waited to grab the invis until after I got the clarity, but I just wanted to probably grab it. Yeah, it's just I kind of made a few chat messages to the viewers, I guess you could say, that about situations that I thought were funny, such as the Bloodhunter just running up, ulting, and Codex level 5ing someone, which is certainly entertaining, even if it's not the most efficient thing ever. Here our wards see the Flint. Flint's an easy hero to gank, so there's no reason for us not to go kill him. Again, purple is pretty slow to react, but it doesn't really matter because Flint's moved up so far that there's no way he's going to survive this. Once again, we stun first correctly, and then Aurora, and then the bomb goes off. Electrician tries to run up to save him, so we swap him into our team, and yeah, there's really no way he's getting out of there. And fortunately, we never even used his clarity, so now that we're at low mana, we should be able to clarity ourselves. Yeah, I actually almost clicked on myself there, but I want to make sure I didn't accidentally click on Arachna, so I clicked on my portrait instead of my hero model, just to be sure. No reason not to. Yeah, so we're just going to take this lane now. They have 2 heroes dead, and we've got 4 people up here. Cronus has just been farming basically the entire game. It's fine. Alright, they're going to actually still try to kill us. We're going to run into the woods here so that Witchslayer doesn't have a line of sight on us, or doesn't have sight on us. He does silver bullet us, but we managed to stun in time along with our teammates. So running into the woods there was good because it bought us enough time for our teammates to do enough damage to Witchslayer that we were able to kill him before he could kill us. He probably could have thrown in a blind graveyard, and maybe then we would have ended up dying. I don't really know, but he didn't, so it worked out. Again, I checked to see if Words of Revelation or Words of Sight are up. They're not. Once again, about 30 more seconds, so I'm just going to run out anyway since I have a Flying Courier coming back, and I'll use the Flying Courier to deliver them to myself in about 30 seconds. Yeah, not much else to say at this point. I'm kind of showing the score screen there so you can see, I mean, we're pretty far ahead. We have this